That disappearing high school dropout. John Merrow, our special correspondent for education, reports from Florida on the story behind the changing numbers.
Lakeisha Simmons has turned her life around. Once a high school dropout, she's gotten a fresh start.
I know I had goals in life that I wanted to succeed in, and the only way for me to get to most of them was to get a high school diploma or a GED.
As it has for millions of others, the GED, or General Education degree, provided Lakeisha with a second chance at earning a high school diploma. Was it hard work?
Yes. Yes, it was. It's all on you. If you take the time to work and learn, then you'll succeed and you can get it done fast. But you have some people who are just there just to be there and feel like it'll be easy to get your GED. You just got to sit there. But it's not like that at all.
Lakeisha applied herself and passed the GED. Today, she attends community college and hopes to move up to a university.
If I'm lucky enough, I will be at Emory University trying to get into pre-med so I can specialize in neurology. But I'm determined, so I'm gonna get there.
It's always been dreams of a second chance that's brought people to the GED. But in recent years, there's been a crucial change in the makeup of students, one that's gone largely unnoticed except by teachers.
They're much younger. They're 17 to 20. And that's it, much younger. 19 times.
For most of his 38 years of teaching GED classes, Joe Kiesel's students were older adults. That's who the GED was intended to serve. Today, Kiesel's seats are filled by teenagers, many referred here by their schools. Why is that happening?
It's because of the demands of the secondary schools. They're having them required to take language, algebra, science. They have to pass the FCAT. It's all academic, and many of them are not academically talented.
Today in Florida, high schools refer thousands of struggling teens to the GED. How many of them earn the diploma? The pass rate for teens is about the same as it was in Lakeisha Simmons' class. Tell me about your classmates. Do you have a sense of how many actually made it through?
In the time that I was there, I believe only 2 or 3 of us passed the test out of a class of at least over 20.
But many of those who do earn the GED will find it doesn't take them very far. In Florida, GED graduates rarely finish community college, and studies suggest the GED may not open many doors in the workplace either. If there are questions about the value of the GED, then why are Florida high schools referring more and more teenagers to these programs? The answer may have something to do with graduation rates, a critical measure now being used to hold schools accountable. Joel Martinez's story illustrates the connection. Because of a learning disability, Joel had difficulty reading and struggled in school. He failed 8th grade, but was promoted anyway. He failed 9th grade and was promoted again. How is that possible?
I don't know. I just went with the flow. I was like, okay, they must think I'm smart, I guess. You know, if I went from failing 8th grade twice to going to 9th, and then from 9th going to 10th, then I must be doing something right, but I don't know what it is.
Joel reached 10th grade at Colonial High School still far behind in reading. He continued to fail. His counselor recommended the GED.
In school, we heard a lot, GED is a lot quicker. You have less problems. You know, you don't have to worry about high school credits. You don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about that. You go take your test, get your GED, and you're done. And that's it. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? I would, you know, get my GED and just be over with it. But it wasn't as simple as that.
After he'd withdrawn from school, Joel was no longer the school system's charge. Though only 16 at the time, he was not required to show up for GED classes, and he never went. Instead, he spent 2 years mostly sleeping late and hanging out with friends. Are you a high school dropout?
Yeah. I would say I'm a high school dropout, yeah.
But officially, Joel was never counted as a dropout. On his school records, he's a W-26, code for a student referred to a GED program. When calculating their graduation rates, Florida schools remove all these students from their rolls.
If they're totally withdrawn from here, then they're not going to count against us. So in essence, they've improved our graduation rate if they withdrew from Evans High School.
Karen Wilson just started as principal at Evans High School in Orlando. Like most principals, she's under intense pressure from her state and from the federal law known as No Child Left Behind to lower the dropout rate and raise the graduation rate. So if you counsel a kid into GED, you benefit?
The graduation rate would benefit.
Evans' graduation rate has improved. In the last year it was calculated, Evans referred 271 failing students into GED programs, thus taking them off its own rolls. That same year, its graduation rate rose from 61% to 66%, enough to satisfy state and federal requirements. But at the same time, the actual number of diplomas handed out fell from 412 to 354. The number of graduates dropped, and yet the graduation rate went up. Does that compute?
No, it does not compute. I'm a high school math teacher too. That's in my past life, so it was very curious for me to see that.
A cynic might say the schools are gaming the system. They're figuring out how to get around accountability. Is that happening?
Well, I don't do that with the GED program, but I think that maybe it's been overused, maybe misused. I don't know. I wasn't here. But I don't think that's the first thing we offer a student. I know it's certainly not the first thing I offer.
Somebody should be held accountable for my learning problems, for not being able to learn the 8th, 9th, and 10th grade. You know, just wanted to get me out of school, and it's not right.
So those kids who were sent off to a GED, who signed the paper, what do you know about their whereabouts today?
Well, they were enrolled in a GED program. And I'm trusting and hoping that they did attend.
Evans High School has its own GED program right on campus. But the night we were there wasn't a teenager in sight. In 2 years, Evans has transferred 440 students into GED programs. In that same time, only 14 enrolled.
That's not good. I think it's important to know where they are. And I have to tell you, after I've asked the question and thought about it, I'm going to find out. I'm really going to find out. If we don't have a system, there may be a system in place in Orange County to track the students. I do know that they do come back to the schools in the fall, and they ask the guidance counselors to find out where your graduates are. But no one's asked me, where did your GED students go?
Here's what we've learned. Last year in Orlando, high schools transferred 1,201 teenagers to the GED. 315 actually enrolled, and 135 earned a diploma. That leaves 886 teenagers unaccounted for.
I had not heard those numbers. That's very disheartening because we all lose. We all lose. And where are they now? Where did they go? In the streets? That's pretty shocking to know that they withdrew and they never went on with their education.
As for Joel Martinez, after years spent without a high school diploma, he's now re-enrolled in a GED program. No longer a teenager, he works night shifts in a factory, sleeps 3 hours, and wakes up for school. He's further behind than ever.
I want to give up. I mean, every day I wake up, oh God, I can't do this. I cannot do this. It's sickening because I don't know how to read. And if I swear, I say it, if I knew how to read, life would be a lot easier for me. It would. You know, and if I can't get my GED, then I can't get nothing in my life.
In time, the No Child Left Behind reforms, more testing, more attention to results, may prevent students from failing in the first place. At the moment, however, thousands of Florida teenagers are disappearing from the rolls. Last year, the number of failing students transferred to the GED rose from 11,615 to 17,144.